So here we are in downtown Gloucester, just got some fuel. I wasn't sure whether you'd get fuel at Wards River or what's the other joint, Stratford or anywhere. So after that it's another 20-30 k's or whatever after that, at least that, probably 40-50 k's or more to Raymond Terrace to get fuel. And by that stage we'd be up to sort of over 200 k's and be looking for fuel properly then. Anyway, it's a lovely afternoon. Just chatting to the woman who's running the servo this afternoon, and she's she's bored because it's so quiet, and is doing some gardening, which I reckon's great somehow. You know, you don't see people running service stations doing the gardening while they're there. Look at that lovely weather. So it's a pretty sort of boring old run from here to the coast, or to the highway. So I'm just going to let this battery run, or memory card run, until it runs out. Then I'll change it somewhere else along the line. When we get to the highway, then it's even more boring because it's the M1. But I was thinking we might make a bit of a ride out of it and go instead of going down the M1, all the way down to Doyleson, we might go up John Renshaw Drive or something and then out through Freeman's and down that way for a bit of a laugh. See how we go. It's just boring as batshit going down the freeway with all the cars and whatnot. Why would you bother? Impressive. That used to be open all the time. I suppose it's probably just getting late on a public holiday afternoon, isn't it? Turn off to Dungog. I was going to say we could make a real ride and go that way, but probably take a bit too long. I'm going to stretch the friendship too much with young Kerry. We're in Stroud now. Now my grandfather, who I sort of only met once, he was a foreman on the railways back in the 1920s, 30s, whatnot, and later, and like he was worked up around Llangollen, around that area, Ben Lomond, Armidale and stuff. He also worked down here on the railroad that goes up through Stroud Road up the coast, and it used to, they used to live in camps back in those days. I remind me what gear we're in. And Mum had memories of travelling with him occasionally, and he worked in camp at Wisemantles back in the day. It's just back up the road there, and everyone's at the pub Anzac Day, probably playing 2-up. Anzac Day is the only day in Australia where 2-up is legal. It's a gambling game with play with 2 or 3 pennies, depending on which version you play. Anyway, yeah, Mum had, if I used to drive her down through this way, down to the hospital or wherever we were going, she would talk about, you know, when she'd stayed around here with her father and stuff. She had very nice, fond memories of that. Starting to smell barbecues and dinner cooking now. There's been a lot of interesting aromas on this ride today, you know, blood and bone, smell of people mowing their lawns, now the smell of people, I could swear I could smell sausages cooking on a barbecue back there. Smell of cut grass, you know. Now, I talked about this recently, you know, the idea of the things you miss out on when you're travelling by car, you know, modern cars, you know. I was thinking before, just today, and it's these little things that make such a difference to our separation from the world, you know, like when I was a kid and when I was, you know, up until the 90s or whatever, at least, most people didn't have air conditioning in cars in Australia. So, you know, you just wind the window down. Have your elbow out the window, you know, like this, and so you got all the smells and the heat and the cold and all those things, you know, which you just don't do in cars anymore. It's just these little separations that make us somehow divorced from the world around us, you know. Which is a shame. It's good to see, like over the years, that these old servos and stuff have been renovated and reopened. It just gives you more options. There was a time on this road where there was, you know, that wasn't there. There were hardly any options at all. It was like Newcastle, or Raymond Terrace, Gloucester. You know, you had to make sure on a bike like this to choose a bit of juice, you know. Had to make sure that you had enough petrol to get to Gloucester and blah, blah, blah. And then slowly, you know, these things have reopened, which is great, you know. And I guess that a lot of that's to do with that double-edged sword thing where you think, oh, well, like, you know, like Guyra being the sleepy little town that it was, but the people who make the tree changes and stuff, you know, they also bring life back to the country. So that's got to be a good thing. Beautiful late afternoon. Alright, let's get these sunglasses off, shall we? Put them away. That's a lot lighter now. Fool. slow down. The road is starting to feel a bit rough. Rough as guts. Turn your fucking lights down, mate. It's bloody not even dark yet. Typical fucking grey nomads. If I just say fuck it a sentence a couple more times. There's a motorcycle up there. Must have been a late Arvo rider as well, eh? Here we are, on back to the M1. What are we going to do? Just sit out here, are we? That's very exciting. It's quite bizarre how they managed to shove a great big roundabout in the middle of the, Australian version of an autobahn. That's remarkable, getting through those lights. Thought that'd never happen. I wonder what sort of bike this is. Some sort of sports bike anyway. I'll never know. A proper sports bike rider or aficionado would go, oh, you can tell by that tailpiece it's a whatever. Well, I wouldn't know. Got through those lights as well. Let's crawl up beside him, shall we, and see. I still don't know. Could be an R1. No idea. That is a Yamaha. Probably is an R1 actually. Or an R6. The Hunter River, looking nice this evening. This is Hexham, which is like, sort of outer suburb of Newcastle. Can't believe we got through those lights. It was our first time for everything. I think what I'm going to do is just say fuck it. I've had enough of this sort of traffic, so I might go out John Renshaw Drive to Curry, then just take the back road through Freeman's to Doyleston that way. Aha. Better stop up the road and wipe this visor. It's getting a bit hard to see through. Well, we've done 111 k's since Gloucester. $350 something for the day. Feels like we've done about 1,000 because of the way I ride and stop. That's alright. Got to get your money's worth. No point riding down the road for a latte and back. You're going to go for a ride, you go for a ride. Been a while since I've been on this road at night, or in this road at all, let alone at night. I mean, Kerry and I lived down here for a little while. We have 2 years here for 2 years. It's just embarrassing for all concerned. Looks like they've done up that. We're at Stanford Merthyr. Stanford fucking Merthyr. That's right, innit? The moon looks great tonight. I say Stanford Merthyr, you know, more or less in Curry. Curry's just up there. But I suppose the people who live in Stanford Merthyr wouldn't want to be confused with those, with those living in Curry, you know.